Silence. This is where it all begins, in the dark, in the void, in the moment when no one is watching. While the world sleeps, while the weak choose a warm bed, the strong get up. Because greatness doesn't start on stage, it starts in the solitude of daily effort. David knew that. He always did. But the world never believed in him. They said he had no talent, that he would never have a champion's physique, that he would never set foot on a bodybuilding stage, that he would never be strong enough to be a true elite athlete. But David didn't listen. Every champion has a choice. Give in to exhaustion or challenge the impossible. Every legend carries a burden, the pain of regret or the pain of growth. And the choice has always been yours. Gym motivation, it's not just about lifting weights. It's not just about strength training. It's about discipline. It's about waking up early when no one else wants to. It's about turning pain into strength, failure into fuel. It's about inspiration. Motivation for failure? Yes, because failure will follow you. You will fall. You will want to quit. But the difference between winners and losers is right here. Motivational speech? No, this is life. Either you get up and fight or you watch others take what could have been yours. Do you want to win? Then fight. Do you want to grow? Then stop running. Because in the end, the only name that will echo in your mind will be your own. Pain is inevitable. Failure will happen. But what defines a champion is what he does after he falls. David learned that early. Since he was a kid, he knew what it was like to hear no. When he tried out for the school team, he was rejected. They told him he had no talent. When he entered his first competition, he finished dead last. They told him he wasn't built for this. When he tried again, they said he was wasting his time, that he should accept reality, that he would never be a champion. How many times have you heard something like that? How many times have they told you that you weren't good enough? The world doesn't care how badly you want something. It doesn't care about your effort. It will test you. It will knock you down. It will make you doubt yourself. And the question you need to answer is, are you going to accept that or are you going to fight? David almost quit. After so many losses, he started wondering if they were right. Maybe he was wasting his time. Maybe he wasn't meant for something great. But deep down, something wouldn't let him stop. It wasn't talent. It wasn't luck. It was just one thing. He refused to believe that this was the best he could be. This isn't about muscles. It's not about the gym. This is about mindset. The body only follows what the mind believes is possible. And if your mind is weak, you will never be strong. That's why most people quit. This is where the weak make excuses. This is where the weak complain about pain, while the strong turn pain into fuel. David realized that he wasn't competing against others. He didn't need to prove anything to the people who rejected him in the past. He didn't need to convince anyone that he was capable. The only person he needed to beat was himself. Growth doesn't happen in comfort. Discipline isn't born from ease. The true champion's mindset only comes when you learn to keep going, even when everything inside you screams to quit. That's when David understood that what was stopping him from winning wasn't a lack of talent. It wasn't bad luck. What was holding him back was his mindset. Failure is not the end, unless you decide to stop. Most people wait for the perfect moment to change. They say, next week I'll start, next year I'll change, one day I'll make it. But David realized something. That day never comes. If you wait for the perfect conditions, you'll never move forward. If you wait for motivation to show up, you'll never take action. If you wait for others to recognize you, you'll never be anything more than an empty promise. David understood that change doesn't happen in the future. It happens right now. He stopped comparing himself to others, stopped looking for shortcuts, stopped making excuses, and he started doing what needed to be done. He realized that discipline matters more than motivation. Motivation is temporary, it comes and goes. But discipline is what separates champions from everyone else. From that day on, everything changed. He woke up earlier than everyone else. He trained harder than everyone else. He gave his all, even when no one was watching. Because now he knew the real work happens in silence. That's when David understood something powerful. The body obeys the mind. And the mind only respects those who have the courage to go beyond. Pain was no longer an obstacle. Failure was no longer an ending. Now they were part of the journey. Every rep was a step forward. Every drop of sweat was progress. Every day of sacrifice brought him closer to greatness. If you want to change your life, you have to change your mindset. If you want to be different, you have to act differently. If you want to win, you have to start right now. Most people quit before they see results. They train for a week and complain that nothing has changed. They try for a month and think they're not making progress. They expect instant results to justify their effort. But over time, David realized something. Real progress is invisible at first. When he started training with discipline, nothing seemed different. His body still hurt. The weight still felt heavy. The mirror still showed the same image. But he kept going, even when the progress was small, even when no one noticed his growth, even when doubt tried to creep back in. Because now he understood that success doesn't come from speed, it comes from consistency. And then something changed. He started lifting weights that used to crush him. His body started responding to the effort. His mind started getting stronger. his confidence grew. Now the same people who once laughed at him started asking, "How did you do it? How did you change so much? What's the secret?" When they asked, David just smiled because he knew there was no secret. Just hard work, just daily effort, just the discipline to keep going when everyone else gave up. And this is where most people fail. They want results before they've proven they deserve them. They want rewards without sacrifice. They want to reach the top, but they don't want to climb the steps. David climbed every step. He sweat every drop. He fought every battle. And now he was starting to become what they once said he could never be. But there comes a point in every journey where life decides to test you one more time. Everyone faces a moment like this. That moment when everything you've done so far is put to the test. When you look ahead and realize you only have two choices, win or fail. While most people break under pressure, David stood strong because he had prepared for this. He had trained for years. He had put in the work. He had battled exhaustion, pain, and past failures. But nothing compared to what he was about to face now. This was the biggest test of his life. And as always, no one believed in him. They said he wasn't ready, that he still wasn't strong enough, that he still didn't have what it took to win. And you know what? A part of him almost believed it. Because fear will always be there. It will always whisper that maybe you're not good enough. But the difference between champions and quitters is this. Champions hear that fear, but move forward anyway. David took a deep breath. And the moment he took the first step, he realized that the battle was already won. Because the real fight wasn't against the challenge. It was against the old version of himself. And that version of David was already gone. Every rep, every sacrifice, every day he refused to quit. All of it had prepared him for this moment. And now it was time to show the world what happens when someone refuses to give up. The difference between just another name and an unforgettable name is not talent. It's not luck. It's the courage to keep going when everyone else has given up. David never wanted to be famous. He actually avoided it. He never needed the world to know who he was. All he ever wanted was to know that he gave everything he had. But when someone refuses to quit, the world has no choice but to notice. The same people who doubted him now speak his name. The same ones who laughed at him now look up to him. The same ones who ignored him now respect him. But David knows the real victory was never about them. It was about looking in the mirror and knowing he never gave up on himself. Now he turns to the world and asks, "Do you remember my name?" And the answer no longer matters because he will never again forget who he truly is. David went through a tough journey. He fell, he failed, he doubted himself. But in the end, he never gave up. Now take a look at your own life. How many times have you thought about quitting? How many times have you let fear make decisions for you? How many times have you waited for the right moment that never came? The truth is, no one will remember your name if you don't give them a reason to. So what are you going to do now? Are you going to close this video and go back to the same excuses? Or are you going to make the decision that could change everything? The choice has always been yours. And the only thing standing between you and your best future is the courage to take the first step. If this message resonated with you, comment below. I choose to act because that is the only difference between dreamers and achievers. And if you want to keep pushing forward on this journey of transformation, click the video on the screen now. The decision to watch it and change your life is yours. Subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications because this is just the first step in your evolution.